Usi Lina na importa. Where's the money? I need money to. So na ako ito. Good evening. I apologize for being late. May doktor ako. Hindi man ako maka-uwi ng Davao. So, yung doktor ko dito ang pumunta sa akin. Is the first in the program for tonight, the agenda is the the weather update by Pag-asa Administrator Vicente Malino. Sir, kindly. Is he in the panel? See. Mr. Malino, go ahead.
Dali. Maayong hapon, Mr. President.
Maayong hapon.
Other members of the cabinet and fellow workers in the government, good afternoon. Ito po yung ating latest update related sa pagpasok at pagdaan ng bagyong si Typhoon Odette with international name Rai. Ayo. Ba't wala din?
5 p.m. na yan.
This is at 5 p.m., December 17. Alam po natin na ang bagyong si Odette ay atin pong binantayan nung pang mag-umpisa ng December 12 at hanggang ngayon po. At ito po yung tinatahak itong Caraga region. Tapos pumasok siya sa Leyte, then Central Visayas, so Western Visayas. Then after that, dito sa may Palawan at sa ngayon ay nasa west of Palawan na po siya. Ano po takbalin? Ito na po yung pinaka-latest areas na may warning signal po tayo. May signal number 3 po tayo dito po sa northern portion of Palawan. Ito po yung kasama sa may signal number 3, ito yung mga bayan ng El Nido, Taytay, Araceli, Dumaran, Rojas, San Vicente, and Puerto Princesa. Doon po sa may signal number 2, ito po yung central portion of Palawan, kasama po yung Nara, Supronio Española, Quezon, Aborlan, Rizal, Brooks Point, including Kalayaan, Kalamayan, Cuyo, and Cagayancillo Islands. Yun pong signal number 1 ay dito po sa Luzon. Mayroon po tayo dito sa Oriental and Occidental Mindoro and the western portion of Romblon. Ito po yung mga bayan sa western portion ng Romblon, Santa Maria, Udyungan, Alcantara, Looc, Santa Fe, San Jose, Perol, San Andres, San Agustin, Calatrava, Corcuera, Banton, Concepcion, and the rest of Palawan. Ito yung pong may signal number 1 sa Luzon. Sa Visayas po ay ito pong lugar sa Aklan, Capiz, Iloilo, Antique, the western portion of Negros Occidental. Ito po yung mga lugar na ito. Cadiz City, Manapla, City of Victorias, Enrique B. Magalona, Silay City, City of Talisay, Murcia, Bacolod City, Bago City, Valladolid, Pulupandan, La Carlota City, La Castellana, Pontevedra, San Enrique, Moises Padilla, Hinigaran, Isabela, Binalbagan, City of Himamaylan, City of Kabangkalan, Ilog, Candone, Hinubaan, and City of Sipalay, including Kawayan and Guimaras Island. Yun lang po, Mr. President. Salamat po.
Is there a new depression dito sa Pacific ngayon?
Mayroon po tayong nakikita, Mr. President, na ang inaasahan po natin papasok sa Philippine Area of Responsibility sa hapon po ng December 24, at ang ating pong projection ay ito po ay mag-dissipate po, hindi po tatama ng kalupaan according to our analysis during based on current data po, na mag-dissipate po siya east of Bicol Region or Samar Island. Hindi po siya tatama ng kalupaan. Sana po hindi na matuloy.
Sana po. Okay, thank you for the... What I'm worried is that another one would be coming up during Christmas time. Mawawalop tayo nito. I'm worried about, it's Christmas time. People are happy and we have this one after another. I hope not. It will dampen the spirit of the people during Christmas time. Sana wala nang sumusunod. The one that you're referring to is not an intense one as Odette.
Hindi po, depression po siya, at sabi ko nga po kanina, inaasahan po natin mag-dissipate at hindi po siya tatama ng kalupaan po. Several kilometers east of Bicol Region or Samar.
I hope so, and wag lang sana. We cannot hardly afford any other depression coming our way during Christmas time. Now, I would like to go to the second dito sa ating program agenda, is the presentation on the effects of Typhoon Odette. Dito tayo medyo, I said we will hear from General Halad. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. President. I'll be presenting to the President and to the Cabinet members from the Operation Center of the NDRRMC here in Camp Aguinaldo. I will be briefing on our preparedness and immediate response measures, the initial effects monitored, and as well as our next steps.
Yes.
Next slide, please. So shown is our preparedness and response measures. For the NDRMC, we activated Charlie Protocol, the highest protocol when it comes to response against tropical cyclones, and we raised the red alert. We also issued alert and warning messages, totaling 48 emergency alert and warning messages in all, and 425 advisories from the NDRMC. The different departments are shown, and agencies also carried out preparedness measures like the issuance of directives to LGUs by the DILG, the prepositioning of health logistics by DOH, the preparation of schools, 275 schools, to be used as evacuation centers by DepEd. The prepositioning of family food packs and other relief goods totaling to about 1 billion pesos by DSWD. The monitoring of roads and bridges by DPWH, monitoring of the situations in ports by DOTR, the preparation of and augmentation of rescue teams by the AFP, Bureau of Fire, PNP, and Philippine Coast Guard. Our early preparations likewise afforded different regional disaster risk reduction management councils opportunities to prepare. And our regional government agencies carried out prepositioning of resources, cascading of warnings and advisories coming from the NDRMC, and providing assistance to local government units in their evacuation, search and rescue, clearing, provision of supplies, among others. And local government units were in the forefront in the conduct of preemptive evacuation to avoid casualties, the management of evacuation centers, as well as the conduct of initial assessment immediately when it was safe for them. And following will be the initial report of effects by Typhoon Duterte. In region, please go back to that slide. Shown is the timeline of Typhoon Duterte, which was already presented earlier by Pagasa. Next slide, please. Here are the initial monitored effects. In Region 6, there is flooding in Kabangkalan City, Negros Occidental. We monitored deaths numbering to 6, and most of these are due to fallen trees, meron ding drowning. We have 7 missing persons. Affected families and individuals totaled about 5,864 families, or 17,238 individuals. There was monitored power interruption in Aklan, Antique, Capiz, Guimaras, Iloilo, and Negros Occidental. And the rapid damage and needs assessment is ongoing in this region. Next slide, please. In Region 7, shown is a picture of flooding in Sugbo, Mercado, Cebu, as well as in Lobok, Bohol, along the Lobok River. But as per report of our regional director in Region 7, the flooding in Lobok, Bohol is now slowly subsiding. There are 4 deaths monitored, 2 in Cebu City and 2 in Lapu-Lapu City. And these are still for validation. The number of affected families and individuals are being assessed. There was monitored power interruption in Bohol, Cebu, and Negros Oriental, as well as communications and signal interruption from the telcos in Cebu and Bohol. Mactan Airport was likewise damaged, and all flights are currently suspended. Next slide. In Region 8, we have pictures or initial reports of damages to buildings and structures. We monitored 1 death. Affected families is numbered about 5,275 families, or 20,103 individuals. There was likewise power interruption in the province of Southern Leyte, Eastern Samar, and Biliran, as well as telco signal in Leyte, Southern Leyte, and Eastern Samar. In Region 10, there was likewise report of flooding, but not as bad as that we can imagine. There is 1 death monitored in the province of Bukidnon due to fallen tree and injuries to 2 persons. And affected families numbered, as shown, 1,399 families, or 5,984 individuals. Next slide, please. In Caraga, we monitored storm surge, as shown in the video. uh, in Surigao City. Siargao was the first island wherein Typhoon Odette made landfall, and the regional director of OCD, together with the brigade commander of 2nd Brigade, went to Siargao earlier today on board two helicopters of the Philippine Air Force. And they have to go back to Butuan. The helicopter had to go back to Butuan to ferry some supplies. As report from information from the provincial governor of Surigao del Norte, Siargao Island is heavily damaged. There is no casualty reported though in Caraga, from based on the initial report from the Office of Civil Defense. There was power interruption in these areas, Diragat Island, Siargao, Surigao del Norte, and Surigao del Sur, as well as communications and signal interruption in Siargao and Diragat Islands. We are intending, Mr. President, to bring in a very small aperture terminal from DITC based in Butuan that will be ferried tomorrow morning so that it can provide satellite, voice, and data communication in the operation center of the local government units, as well as provide Wi-Fi services in limited radius from that VSAT technology. We are also intending, Mr. President, to bring in another VSAT tomorrow from our headquarters here in Campo Aguinaldo, and we'll be coordinating for an aircraft that will bring in some teams from Campo Aguinaldo to Siargao. Next slide, please. Shown is the number of preemptive evacuation that we carried out in preparation for the landfall of Typhoon Odette. A total of 84,674 families, or 338,664 individuals. These are the number of families and individuals that we saved by having them evacuate early. Next slide, please. And for the summary of effects, Typhoon Odette affected Region 4B, Region 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, and Caraga. A total of 12 deaths are initially monitored, missing 7 persons and injured 2 persons. And again, shown is the preemptive evacuation we conducted. But the total number of affected population and the cost of damage is still being assessed. Next slide, please. And for our next steps, first will be the data gathering and validation of incidents monitored, the number of casualties, affected population, the damaged houses, damage to agriculture, and damage to infrastructure. We will also be continuing with our aerial and field assessment. Earlier, the commander of Mincom joined a sortie of Black Hawk helicopters from Davao. I understand he went to Surigao Norte to see for himself the damage there. We have to restore immediately power and communications and continue with the search, rescue, and retrieval operations being conducted. We also have to provide the needed supplies, like, for example, or relief goods, like, for example, temporary shelter for those with damaged houses that will be that can be provided by DSWD. The provision of food supplies and other relief goods that will be given also by DSWD and the support of the Office of Civil Defense. I would like to mention also, Mr. President, that most of the relief goods and food supplies from DSWD were already prepositioned in the different regional offices. And the ferry of or movement of those supplies will be coming from the regional hubs to the areas being affected. Likewise, provision of health supplies to areas needing them. Next slide, please. So that ends my presentation, Mr. President. Good evening. Thank you very much.
May isang tanong lang ako sa halad, Secretary. Ano bang ano mo dyan? Undersecretary ka na pala. Tingin mo, ang mabigat ang casualties. The reports are not yet in, but how do you assess the situation? Maraming fatalities dito. I can't, pakiulit lahat kasi walang sound. The audio
Yes,
is...
Mr. President. Sa ngayon, ang monitored or initial report of casualties numbered about 12 in total, coming from all those regions affected. And wala ring monitor na report na landslides na madalas in the past typhoons ay big contributors of casualties. But hopefully, in the next few days, in the conduct of more assessment by our LGUs and regional government agencies involved, there will be no more casualties be reported. But we're doing our best, Mr. President, to collect the needed information with the help of the local government units and other agencies involved. I would like to correct also, Mr. President, that based on an information from the governor of Surigao Norte, there are 2 deaths reported from the island of Surigao, but that is also being validated as of now.
Okay. Are you going to the area when?
I intend, plano namin, Mr. President, to proceed to Siargao tomorrow morning.
Because
Although nauna na doon yung Brigade Commander ng 202nd at saka yung Regional Director ng Office of Civil Defense Caraga galing sa Butuan, and they will go back again tomorrow. Food supplies will be coming from Butuan to Surigao, utilizing Philippine Air Force helicopters.
the airport sa Surigao is okay.
As per information from the area, yung terminal ng Siargao was damaged, but the runway is usable, Mr. President.
The runway is good.
Yes, sir.
Take off on land. I'm flying tomorrow to the area. Also, I would hit maybe late Surigao, and if there is enough time, Bohol. Then day after, I would try to visit Cebu. Then dito sa eastern side of the islands, Bacolod, Iloilo. How's the situation in Iloilo? Not much damage.
We are still getting information from Region 6. We did not receive any report of any untoward incident in Iloilo, Mr. President. The path of the typhoon was south of Panay Island. So we expect no problem in Iloilo. As I've said earlier, merong flooding doon sa Negros Occidental, which is the direct path of Typhoon Odette.
I am not so much worried about damage to structures, infrastructures of government. Ang ano ko is, ang takot ko kung maraming namatay. yeah, I am as eager as you to go there to see for myself. We are trying to raise the money. I was also late. I was talking with the budget. Alam mo, depleted yung budget natin immensely because of the COVID. Naubos talaga yung pera natin. These typhoons, they are the imponderables, they would say. They would come, they would not come, but itong COVID, naubos ang pera natin. So we're trying to scrimp how much we can raise so that we can marshal it to the areas affected. I'd like to be to report or sa ako nanonood rin or the secretary of DPWH. That's one worry. I mean, trying to call persons there, but I would want the secretary to make the report to us.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, Senator Bongo, and members of the cabinet.